Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at the Brand Event Center in Irvine, California, the action continues now. We feature 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner first, at 5'10", weighing in 146 pounds even. His professional record stands even at 1-1. He fights out of Van Nuys, California. Introducing Marcos "Murder Marks" Bonilla. And across the cage, his adversary tonight fights out of the red corner. At 5'10", he weighed in 144 pounds even. Tonight, he makes his professional debut from Long Beach, California. Introducing AJ "Mercenary" McKee. In charge of the action, your referee, Mark Smith.
Featherweights for you now. Marcos Bonilla facing AJ McKee. Dave & Buster's brings you our tale of the tape, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
See the weight, Bonilla did not make weight, had to come back to make 146. Did that drain him?
Round number 1. Fast start for AJ McKee. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Son of Antonio McKee, longtime fighter, outstanding wrestler. But his son, a lot of confidence in his striking.
Marcos Bonilla in the blue gloves, red gloves for AJ McKee. Bellator debut for both, third pro MMA bout for Bonilla, pro MMA debut for McKee. Welcome to the deep end of the pool, kid. No starting in a National Guard armory. Yep. Starting in the Bellator cage. Big swings from AJ McKee. McKee, a lot of heat through his AMI MMA career, a record of 9-1. Marcos Bonilla, though, said all of the pressure is on my opponent. He has the AMI MMA credentials, and he carries the name McKee. Of course, his father, as you mentioned, Jimmy. Outstanding MMA veteran Antonio McKee, who you almost fought.
That's true. That's true. I did one time.
And now here's his son.
And now here's his son. Thanks for making me feel old, Sean.
And I'm older than you.
Thank you.
And Antonio McKee's grandkids fight that we're checking out.
Yeah, totally.
Takedown
Going for the Darce choke.
Going hard for the Darce. See the hand on the bicep, and he lost it down the transition.
Man, smooth transition to the back, but only one hook in so far.
Marcos Bonilla said, my biggest asset as a fighter is my intelligence. I can assess situations, but no time to assess. Try this deep rear naked choke. There's the tap, and the victory for AJ McKee in his pro mixed martial arts debut.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a rear naked choke. Official time, 2 minutes, 8 seconds into round number 1 by submission. Now, undefeated as a professional, AJ "Mercenary" McKee. 12-0, 23-year-old AJ McKee against 25-year-old 10-2 Daniel Crawford.
Superior records for both guys, but that reach of 74 inches, that is where McKee wants to keep Danny Crawford to the outside.
Herb Dean, our referee. Best start, longest winning streak in Bellator history for AJ McKee. 12-0. Look at the names on that list, including the man who will fight and try to get his title back in our main event tonight, Iron Michael Chandler. Crawford, McKee. Here we go. McKee, the southpaw, will switch his stance. Red gloves, blue gloves for Daniel Crawford.
McKee is so athletic, has such a great wrestling base, but the one thing that Danny Crawford coming into this fight feels, he thinks that his ground game is better than AJ McKee's, and he wants to test it out.
He switches his stance. AJ, as John talked about, the first to stop John McCapa, and he did it in just 69 seconds.
What we've been seeing is a progression of AJ McKee as far as the maturity as a fighter. He keeps on doing things better and better. He has made mistakes. He has learned from those mistakes, but those mistakes have not been enough for someone to defeat him. And he is getting so good at this point in his career, but he is a guy in Danny Crawford asked for this fight when nobody else wanted to fight AJ McKee.
Fighting is the only job he has ever had. 25 years old. 10 victories, looking for his first as a Bellator fighter. Winner of 4 of his last 5. And unlike our travel the last couple of weeks, this time it was crazy travel for the Brit.
Oh man, it's a long ways to go from Britain to Honolulu.
10 hours to San Francisco, 7-hour layover, 5 hours to Hawaii, all to fight one of the top prospects and biggest rising star, if not already star, on the Bellator roster.
You look at what AJ McKee is doing right here. The pressure that he's creating is keeping Danny Crawford being able to do it. You see him with the overhook. That's trying to just hold on to AJ. But AJ's body positioning is outstanding, and he's not expending energy in doing it.
Crawford started into MMA because of George St. Pierre. He had 24 amateur fights as a boxer. Trying to keep that wide base and avoid being taken down.
AJ McKee yeah, he's still digging for that takedown, but his hand position is not in a place where he's going to get it right now.
You can see the mark on that.
There you go. Hands closed and he's down.
AJ was patient, wasn't he, John?
He was, and he was putting a lot of pressure, but not exuding a lot of energy in doing it, and that's what's showing his maturity as a fighter.
Former Gracie National Grappling Champion, AJ McKee.
This is where Danny Crawford was saying, look, I want him on the ground. I believe I'm much better than him on the ground. And in knowing AJ McKee and seeing how good he is, AJ is very quick on the ground. He's got great movement, and in transitions, he will catch you if you are not careful.
Antonio, his father, of course, former professional fighter, coach, father, best friend.
You're looking right now, you're looking at an Anaconda setup. Danny Crawford's got some problems here, especially if AJ can bring that leg and catch Danny's body.
It is all over, just like that. Another finish for AJ McKee. He is 13-0. and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap by way of an anaconda choke ends it officially. 3 minutes, 19 seconds into round number 1. The winner by submission, still undefeated, the mercenary, AJ McKee.
Here is the tale of the tape for this pivotal contest at 145 pounds. AJ McKee versus Pat Curran.
Take a look at that undefeated record of AJ McKee. All 13 of those wins here at Bellator. A beautiful 23-7 record for Pat, but that 73.5-inch reach is something that Pat is going to have to deal with.
The next voice you will hear is Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA returns now to the featherweight division for a feature fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner first. At 5'10", weighing in 146 pounds even, the two-time former Bellator featherweight world champion returns tonight with 23 professional victories, 7 losses, fighting out of Crystal Lake, Illinois, presenting Pat Curran. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 145.8 pounds. The undefeated professional stands with 13 victories, no defeats. He fights out of Long Beach, California. Introducing AJ Mercenary McKee. In charge of the action, your referee, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, the third man inside the cage. Pat Curran returning to action, riding a 3-fight win streak. But his last fight took place in October 2017. AJ McKee looking to run his record-winning streak in Bellator to 14-0. The two-touch gloves, McKee in the red gloves, Curran in the blue gloves. Curran fighting out of Crystal Lake, Illinois. Remember Camp Crystal Lake and Jason Voorhees? Is it true that you trained Jason Voorhees, John?
A friend of mine was a stuntman, and he played that part. And you know what? The fact that Pat comes from there, I'm scared.
Well, Curran hopes to be a scary proposition for AJ McKee. And you talk about the keys to victory. What's the biggest path to victory for a guy like Curran returning, saying that cage corrosion will not be a factor? He's a vet.
Well, cage corrosion, especially in this first round, is going to be where you're going to see it, because he's going to have to break that sweat, get used to that feel the contact, let the energy just, ease out of him. But
there is a feeling out process going on.
And this is good for Pat, but it is that length of AJ that is going to give Pat Curran problems.
On cue, utilizing that length to deliver the body kick, misses with that crescent kick.
And when you're looking at Pat, look at the head placement, look at his hands. I've always said, defensively, he is an outstanding fighter. So he's not an easy person for AJ to attack, because he doesn't give you a lot of openings. You've got to pick those spots and attack him fast when they open up.
McKee has done his homework. That head kick was blocked. He says that Curran very methodical, patient inside the cage. We're seeing it. He says that Curran's good at finding openings, great timing. And McKee says he just has to stay active, disrupt Curran as much as possible, and he's staying active in the kicking department.
Well, I think that left kick to the head is a very important aspect of what AJ McKee is going to do here tonight. He wants to keep Pat in a position where he's keeping that hand up high and worried, and he's going to start opening it up, bringing it not only to the head, but bringing it down to the body to slow.
And there's the takedown by McKee into the butterfly. Guard half butterfly now by Curran. And again, Curran has spent a lot of time training with his cousin, Jeff Curran, who has competed for every major mixed martial arts organization on the planet. And what do you look for from Curran on his back, John?
Well, if you're going to attack AJ, since he is so long, the one thing that I've always looked and said is partially open. Look towards his legs, but then you're always opening yourself up for the attack if you can't control the upper body of AJ. AJ physically up top is very strong, and he's got great balance. And if he's able to posture here, he can bring a lot of damage down on you.
Able to posture being the the question, because right now Curran creating the posture separation, but immediately McKee lands a punch and then a knee up the middle, but Curran able to circle away from the cage, reset in the center. A lot of mutual respect between these two. Curran has actually gone on record as saying he thinks McKee is the #1 contender in the featherweight division.
I think he's right, and I really like the fact that you saw Pat taking his time, being controlled, and then exploding to get himself back to his feet where he wants to be. He doesn't want to be underneath AJ.
Curran attacking the legs of McKee. McKee feinting, resetting, backing up, using lateral motion.
And notice the distance that he's controlling. Every time Pat starts to make that little shuttle step to come inside, you're seeing AJ backing off, circling out, and creating a space that Pat has no ability to be offensive off of.
And McKee said that movement would be his biggest advantage in this fight. When you talk about, and I use the term in MMA, cage corrosion, better known as ring rust, is that more of a mental thing, or is it actually a physical thing, John?
It's both. It's both in the aspect of mentally, you know, I haven't done this for a while, I just want to feel comfortable. And sometimes there's guys that they do right away, and there is no ring rust.
Well, you know, fighters, some don't subscribe to it.
Some don't, and some can mentally just say that's not going to affect me. And then there's guys that timing is an issue when it comes to fighting, and they just feel that little bit off.
McKee
just can't land those shots, and that's what they're going to say is that rust.
McKee clipped Curran coming in, 30 seconds left in the first round. Very much a feeling of process, but now explosive offense from McKee, looking for the finish, but Curran cool, calm, and collected under fire. You don't become a two-time featherweight champion if you wilt under pressure.
No, you know, not even close to being a finish. He hit him with a good shot. Pat ends up being a little off balance, but he wasn't hurt.
So the first round of this featherweight contest is in the books.
Stop, clean break.
Tonight, the unofficial scorecard belongs to Big John McCarthy. What does it read after one round?
After one round, I've got AJ McKee ahead, 10-9.
Reason?
Well, look at he was the one that controlled the distance, the location of the fight. He landed the better shots. He took, you know, Pat down, didn't do any damage with it, but he is the guy that was controlling the fight, and since that was the most that happened, he gets the round.
Adjustments you would like to see Curran make in round two?
Well, I really want to see what Pat Curran does, because now you've had that round. You've seen what AJ can do. What are you going to do to change what occurred in that first round?
In terms of AJ McKee, now 5 minutes in the books. He will continue to, I'm sure, get an uptick in his offense, maybe try to become a little more creative, dynamic. Do you see that as being the case? Or continue to respect the fact that he's in against a much more experienced fighter who's been to the top of the mountain twice in Bellator?
Well, he's in with a much more experienced fighter as far as the length of time that they've been fighting and the number of fights they've had. But look at AJ McKee. He is a professional, and he knows how to fight. This is his fight to lose, is the way I look at it. And what he needs to do is exactly what he's doing. Control the distance, attack that front leg, attack that body with kicks, and then bring those kicks up to the head. You have the length, use it, make it work for you.
We all know that and see the tangibles of a guy like AJ McKee. What's an intangible that you picked up on during his run here in Bellator?
You know, the thing about AJ that I've really noticed is he's got that nastiness to him. There's that element, he's a good person, he's a good kid.
Well, they'd like to see some of that nastiness here tonight.
He has a nasty side, and he does have power when he hits.
Whip that left liver kick into the body of Curran. But Curran continues to walk forward.
And you see that's like a bull rush by Curran. Jumping in, he's starting to show that he's having a problem with that length. It's creating a situation where he doesn't feel like he can get at AJ, and so now he's going to start taking these exasperated leaps into AJ, which only leaves an opening for AJ to attack him.
Curran has been open in the past, talking about his battles with depression and anxiety. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. You know that I'm a huge advocate, and together we can smash the stigma. The more we know, the the more we can save lives, John. And here, Curran and McKee, again, there's a kick by McKee, but midway through the second round, midway through the fight, not a lot of offense.
Well, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to disagree with you as far as A.J. McKee is bringing offense. He's being smart. He's utilizing the kicks. Pat Curran is having a hard time with his offense. Nice kick by Pat, but he's not bringing a lot of it towards A.J.
A lot of single shots. Coming up on the final 2 minutes of the second round, inside, low kick there. There's a right hand that lands for McKee, but again, just single shots, John.
Well, it is exactly what we thought. These guys respect each other. They know each other, are very good at certain aspects of the MMA fighting world, and they need to be careful because it only takes one mistake.
And we have seen the spurts of McKee, like you say, but a lot of energy, intent, but again, not a lot of damage to Curran. Is Curran looking for the takedown and secures it here in round 2 with a minute and a half left in the round, and McKee immediately goes to the strikes from the bottom.
I want to say that's the first time that A.J. McKee has been taken down in the Bellator cage. That was a nice takedown by Pat Curran. Driving double leg, got into him, but he needs to be smart about what he's doing right here.
Curran began wrestling at 15 as a sophomore. He placed in the state championships as a senior. So has a wrestling background, but again, moral victory here, taking McKee to the ground and looking to use the last minute of the round to impose his will and skill on McKee and the judges.
Well, moral victory as far as getting the fight to the ground, but since that fight has hit the ground, he has done nothing but taken shots from A.J. That's the first shot that Pat has landed while on the ground.
So McKee, the busier of the two on the bottom.
Notice that A.J. is not closing his guard. He's keeping an open guard. He's using a grapevine in the legs to push Pat back so he can land elbows. Right now, A.J. McKee is the offensive aggressor in this position.
McKee with 13 wins, 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. He has cut Pat Curran from the bottom. So maybe the Friday the 13th analogy may be apropos after all before this is all said and done. As we are in the final seconds of the second round, McKee versus Curran in the featherweight division. The bell in round 2, the undefeated A.J. McKee in the red gloves. The veteran, round 3, excuse me, Pat Curran in the blue gloves. And John, your unofficial scorecard?
Right now, I've got A.J. McKee ahead in this fight 2 rounds to none. That's that round. Pat Curran took him down, but taking somebody down and getting beat up by elbows is going to give that round to A.J. McKee.
So maybe Curran would like to do round 2 again. That's why I said
that's it. Well, you said that because the referee said round 2.
Yeah, thank you. You threw a referee. What? You of all people, John.
I heard him say it. So.
Here's McKee unloading on Curran. What do you think of the kicking attack of McKee and the way? Is he telegraphing it? Is he showing a tell and allowing Curran to back off?
Well, yeah, he is. You know, look at what we always say. I want to hide my kicks behind my hands. And A.J. is throwing kicks from the open. You know, he's spinning around. He's giving Pat time when he's doing all those spinning techniques. Pat sees his footwork. He sees the setup, and he's starting to move back.
McKee's 9 stoppage wins in the Bellator featherweight division, second most in divisional history behind Patricio Pitbull, who has 10. Pitbull, of course, comes up in the main event, champion versus champion super fight. Both McKee and I'm sure Curran would love to get a crack at Patricio Pitbull. Of course, Pitbull has a pass with Pat Curran.
Oh, he has a tremendous pass with Pat. You know, Pitbull lost a split decision back probably 5 years ago, 5 rounds, lost that split decision victory, but then came back and won. And these guys, I think every time they fight, it's going to be a 5-round fight.
This one is a 3-round affair, and we are in the final 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the fight.
Nice good left hand by A.J. in that exchange. And at least when AJ is coming in, he is throwing with power, and power will get you a lot in this world if you're in a fight.
In many ways, the fight remains on the table.
Okay. It does. Look at, you know, Pat Curran is far from out of this fight. All it takes is one shot to change the entire course of what we've had going on so far.
And there's the one kick, but again, we need to, his corner would love to see an uptick in his offense, but McKee keeping him at distance with those kicks. And there's the shot, the sprawl, and the knee up the middle. Great sequence for Pat Curran.
Nice knee, nice sprawl, nice knee to give AJ a, oh, you want to try to take me down? Think about this the next time.
Our double main event still to come, as we've alluded to in this fight. The featherweight division will be represented in the main event, but at lightweight, again, Patricio Pitbull looking to join Ryan Bader as the only simultaneous two-division champions in Bellator. Tough test against Michael Chandler, and there is bad blood. And there is blood in this fight, courtesy of the elbow from McKee, but the fans at the Allstate Arena restless with the lack of action. And when you're auditioning for the Featherweight Grand Prix, and yes, you talk about respect and experience, and easier said than done when you're outside of the cage, John.
Yeah, well, it's easier said than done when you're facing a guy like AJ and his ability to control that distance. It is not an easy thing to get inside of that range to land shots. You watch what Pat's doing. He's trying to utilize footwork to get in there.
McKee tries again for the shot, but from long distance, and Curran had a lot of time to react to the shot.
You can see, look at the damage on Pat Curran's leg. He's taken a lot of shots. They just haven't been the shots that are going to stop a guy like Pat Curran. Right now, AJ put him up against the fence, trying to work that clinch, see if he can get him to the ground. Pat's a very good wrestler at this point. He knows how to use the cage to keep himself up.
Looking to put Curran through the meat grinder here in the final 30 seconds of the fight. But Curran against the fence.
Nice job of McKee taking the legs. Look what he's doing with Pat Curran's legs. He's keeping Pat Curran's feet up off of the ground. It's going to make it very difficult for Pat to get up.
Final 10 seconds of this featherweight fight. Will AJ McKee's record Bellator win streak continue? Will Curran end the longest sabbatical of his career with a win? The fans weren't impressed, but
here's McKee taking Curran down in the first round. You saw when he took him down. Beautiful job of Pat Curran to get back up, but the knee lands. And then you see AJ was able to control distance. Here's Curran when he went down with a double leg, driving to the ground, but then took a lot of shots. Being on top, he allowed AJ to open up with elbows. And then in the third round, AJ controlled distance, controlled position, was making Pat have to work to try to get to him, and then finally gets him down, controls it.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your decision, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Judges Chris Lee and Scott Jones both scored the fight the same, 30-27, while Judge Kelvin Caldwell sees the fight 30-26. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated AJ Mercenary McKee.
our main event of the evening. These two men are a combined 25-0 at 145. Caldwell 7 years the elder of McKee. Everything else is virtually identical. Let's get this thing going. Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA live on CBS Sports Network from Mohegan Sun Arena. The time has come for the main event of the evening, the first semifinal of the Featherweight World Grand Prix. Sanctioned by the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation Chairman James Gessner, President of Sports and Entertainment Tom Cantone, supervising at Caveside Director Mike Mazzulli. And now, scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds, introducing the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 144.8 pounds, the undefeated professional tonight enters with 16 professional victories, no losses. Hailing from and fighting out of Long Beach, California, the mercenary, AJ McKee. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 144.7 pounds, the former Bellator World Champion brings 15 professional victories, 3 defeats. Fighting out of Redlands, California, he hails from Rahway, New Jersey, Darion, the Wolf Caldwell. And the referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Fighters to the center, please. All right, gentlemen, this is 5 rounds under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. We went over those in the back. I want a good, clean fight. If you'd like to touch gloves, feel free to do it now. Good luck.
Darion Caldwell, AJ McKee. The winner advances to the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix.
You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's go.
Here we go! Tonight's fight clock presented by Geico. Southpaw versus Southpaw. Caldwell in the red gloves, McKee in the blue gloves.
Calculated. Play it, climb.
Very nice drop and entry by Caldwell. Let's see what he can do with the position.
Bicep control. Bicep control.
AJ made it very clear this week, even if he's on the bottom, he's going to make him work, make him take elbows, make him take strikes, make him feel like there's something always going on in the fight.
There we go. Now we're going to look for elbows off this position.
There you see it right there, Josh. Those little heel kicks.
Stop him.
As the fight goes on, those pay dividends. Nice elbow though.
That was a nice heavy elbow by Darion
Walk
Caldwell.
him to the cage. Trying to break your base. You got to climb. Climb, young man, climb.
John, there's a lot
Right
of
shoulder
energy
pressure.
being used though right now by Darion to hold him in place. There's a lot of intensity. That type of stuff will tend to wear your gas tank out as the round goes on.
It is all over! He has made his way to the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix.
Y'all see this? This the key right here. McKee got the key and the game on lock. I run this shit.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the neck crank brings it to the end. The tap officially 1 minute, 11 seconds. Round number 1 by submission. He advances to the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix, the mercenary, AJ McKee.
AJ McKee, we talked earlier, and I talked about you facing a guy that was the first guy, in my opinion, that had a wrestling background that was better than what you had it done in your career. And you said, John, this is not about wrestling, this is MMA. You said if he took you down, you were gonna make him pay. Talk about when he did get you down, the first thing that was going through your mind.
As soon as we hit the ground, I immediately thought, all right, I know he's gonna try to work elbows. He was real adamant on having his arms on the inside, so that told me he's looking to posture up and hit elbows. So I'm like, all right, control the arms a little bit, you know what I mean? And look for your elbows, hit him a little bit, show him some power, get him to open up, and then sink something in. So after that, he popped his head off to the side, and I locked up the body triangle. From there, underhook deep, and that's all she wrote.
So when we talk about that underhook and that 100% position that you went to with this crank on his neck, once you locked up that body triangle, did you know, oh, I'm putting a lot of pressure on it?
Yeah, I just knew, I don't know, I like to play a lot of leverage, you know? You know me since I was a child, man. It's all about the angles. You know, you gotta have the right angle, and you can make anything work.
Well, talking about angles, you now have the straight angle to $1 million. Your next fight, you know, is not only for $1 million, not only for the Featherweight Grand Prix title, it's also for the Featherweight Championship of the World. What does that mean to you?
Man, that's the beginning of the beginning, you know? Childhood dream, I wrote myself at 12 years old, $1 million check, so I'm looking forward to cashing that in, conquer a world title, and then Patricio, even if you don't make it, I'm coming for my 55-pound title as well. I told you, it's nothing personal. You got great accolades, but I'm the new era, I'm the new wave. Everybody shout out to y'all for supporting. You know, I got to give all the glory to God, man, upstairs. I wouldn't be talented as I am today without him. Of course, my father, my coach. Hit me on Instagram and follow the journey as I take over the game.
Well, I want to tell you, that was a beautiful performance. You just put yourself into the finals, 17-0. Congratulations. Back to you, Goldie.